Hello, Big Team. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth. It is hard to believe that it is almost the middle of the month of May, and I need to share with you what I read in the month of April so that I can move on and tell you about all the fun stuff that I am doing in the month of May. One of the fun things I'm doing right now is holding a tiny baby kitten. And this little precious baby was brought to the vet office where Katie works. It probably wasn't even a day old. That was Sunday, Mother's Day. And now today I'm filming this on Wednesday. And I'm going to have to go and feed this little baby before I can do this wrap up. But I just wanted to introduce you. This is a little girl. And she is just a little precious tiny thing. So I will be right back. Okay, she's had her bottle, so hopefully she will sleep long enough for me to do this video. So let me give you a quick summary of what I read in the month of April, and then we'll talk briefly about each book. Most of the books that I read are Amish in nature, have an Amish theme of some sort, or are connected in some way to an Amish community. And that, of course, is because of the Amish in April Readathon, which was co-hosted by Sarah from The Bookish Knitter. And I just want to take a quick second to say thank you to Sarah for continuing to host this with me. It was really a lot of fun this year. We extended it a couple more days longer than we had previously. I think last year was 10 days, and before that it had just been a week. And we talked about maybe doing it for a whole month. I'm not sure that we will do that or not. You know, if you have any opinions about that, let us know in the comments. Mainly, I don't really want to go for a whole month simply because we're coming out of March Mystery Madness. And then after this, I personally am going into middle grade May. And so I kind of need a couple of weeks to just kind of catch my breath, I guess. But anyway, it's fine either way, but I did go ahead and read a couple of Amish books early in the month, and I will tell you about those as well. And I went ahead and read and finished up a couple more in early May. So I enjoy reading Amish books no matter what, no matter when. But, you know, as far as the readathon itself goes, I think, you know, 10 to 12 days is a good amount of time, but, you know, tell me your opinion in the comments below. So the books that I read, there were a total of 16 that I finished during the month. 11 of them were Amish, 2 were historical fiction, another one was a cozy mystery that was not Amish themed. Some of the Amish books were cozy mysteries, and then I had 2 nonfiction books. Now, of the 11 Amish books, 5 of them were what I would consider a cozy mystery, 2 of them were what I would consider more romance, and then the other 4 probably would be classified romance in a bookstore, but very light on the romance, and I would just consider them Amish fiction. That's just me personally. And then of the 16 books, 12 of them were books I listened to on audio, and then 4 I read with my eyes. One of the 4 was an ebook. So let's just get started. I want to kind of go quickly through these because I'm really excited to get to what I read in May, and I want to probably by the middle of the month, maybe by this time next week, for sure, I will do a mid-May wrap-up. Meanwhile, I want to tell you about what I've been doing to sort of reboot my disorganized life and my time management and everything. And part of that has to do with a book that I read in April, and then I have since then read another one of another book by these 2 authors in the month of May as well. So this is Sidetracked Home Executives by Pam Young and Peggy Jones. Pam and Peggy were the inspiration of The Fly Lady. And I've read her books. I read her first book, Sync Reflections, years ago. And I have, what do I want to say? I have adapted some of the Fly Lady philosophies into my own life that I've been doing for years, established some routines, things like that. But I had never read one of the books by Pam and Peggy, even though they've been on my shelf for a while. I sort of joke, but it's true that I hoard books on decluttering. So these have been on my shelf. Now this is the older, I think this is the original version. And then this is a more updated version. I picked both of these up probably at library sales somewhere. And I have not read the newer version. I read the old version, and I read somewhere that maybe I read the beginning of this when I was trying to decide which one of these to read. This is a newer edition. It has been updated some, but what I read instead in May is a book that they wrote called Get Your Act Together. And I think it's newer than either of these. So I might go back and read this at some point when I need a boost, just to see what they updated and what they changed with the system. But Pam and Peggy's system is basically a system of 3x5 cards. That's not the Fly Lady system. Fly Lady did that system and then adapted her own. So I have kind of adapted my own system with a little bit of theirs and a little bit of Fly Lady and other things that I've learned over the years from my hoard of books on decluttering. So I'll probably do a whole video on that. Are you interested? Do you want to see that? Let me know. I'll probably do it anyway, even if nobody comments, but I'm just curious. Okay, so my other nonfiction book is one that I've been reading for a few months. This is a book of devotions by 5 different Christian authors who are women, and it's geared towards women. It's called Delight Yourself in the Lord, Even on Bad Hair Days. I've talked about this book as I've been reading it for the last several months. I've really enjoyed it. I loved getting to know these women and their own walk with God as they shared the different stories of their lives through these devotions. There was 100 different devotions. I'm pretty sure each one of them contributed 20 different 2-page spreads of the, in the book, and it was delightful. I really did enjoy it a lot. Then, I read 2 books that I would consider historical fiction. One of them I don't have a physical copy of. It is part of a series that is a mix of contemporary and historical. So the series is The Quilts of Love by various authors. It's published by Abington Press. This first book I do have, Beyond the Storm by Carolyn Zane, I really enjoyed. This is a contemporary book set in Oklahoma. It's very intense. There's a tornado and all that. This third book, Path of Freedom by Jennifer Hudson Taylor, was okay. It didn't blow me away. It's historical. And I plan to continue this series. Almost all of them are on Audible Plus, and it's a series that I am trying to get through this year. So you'll be hearing more about the series as I go along throughout the year. The other historical fiction book that I listened to in the month of April was for book club. This is The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. Now, we read The Huntress by Kate Quinn last year for book club, and I did not enjoy it. It had way too much foul language for my taste. This one had very little foul language, and it was super interesting. It is about some women who were code breakers in World War II. This is set in England, and I just thought it was fascinating. I really enjoyed it. It does have, all of their side stories and romances and all of that in it, but I just thought the story itself was really good, and it's a book that I would recommend if that sounds interesting to you. And I think most of the people in our book club enjoyed it as well. Then I had one cozy mystery that was not Amish, and then we'll get into the Amish books. So the cozy mystery that I read with the Killing Time with Cozy's Discord group is part of the series read-along we're doing right now of the Dangerous Type series by Paige Shelton. This is book 2, Bookman Dead Style. I thought it was very good. The whole series only consists of 3 books. It's set in a retail store that restores typewriters. They restore books. I think it's called, the name of the store, I'm trying to think, it has some kind of, oh shoot, what is the name of their store? Hold on a second. The Rescued Word, that's it. So, they rescue words, both in books and in typewriters, and they sell stationery, so it's really cool. And I enjoyed this a lot. So then, moving on now through Cozy Mysteries, the author that I read the most from probably is Amanda Flower. I finished 3 books on audio, and then I started one in print that I finished on May 2nd. And the audiobooks that I read or listened to are, so far, the entire series of the Matchmaker series, the Amish Matchmaking series. And I don't have a physical copy of the 3rd one, but this is the first one, I believe, Matchmaking Can Be Murder. And then this is book 2, Courting Can Be Killer. These are all on Hoopla, and my library had these 2 books, but then the 3rd one is Marriage Can Be Mischief. So I listened to all of these. I very much enjoyed them. In fact, this first one, I listened to it early in the month, and then the last two I listened to during the Amish and April Readathon. This is a spin-off series of the Amish Candy Shop Mysteries. Somewhere at some point in the Candy Shop Mysteries, we meet Millie Fisher, who is the main character of the Matchmaking series. Just had a dog walk in. Sorry about that, in case you heard door open. Anyway, very cute, very fun. Millie's best friend is a woman who is not Amish. They've been friends since childhood, and she is a very colorful character, and they're just a great duo and just a lot of fun. Some good dialogue between the two, some banter, and I really enjoyed it just as much, if not more, than the Amish Candy Shop Mysteries. And you could read these without reading the Candy Shop Mysteries, or you could just read them all in publication order, or you could read one series and then the other, which is kind of what I have done. I am caught up with the Candy Shop series until the new one that comes out later this year, and then I started on these. Any order, really, that you want to do it, even out of order, as far as the books go, you could do, but why would you do that? Just start at the beginning and go 1, 2, 3. All right, then the other Amanda Flower book that I read is book 2 in the Appleseed Creek Mysteries. This is one of her older series. I don't even think these are on audio, but my library has all 4 of them. We read book 1 a couple of years ago for my book club, and like our mystery book club, and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to go ahead and read the rest of the series. So I really enjoyed this one. I didn't get started on it quite early enough in the month to be able to finish it by the end of the month, but I did go ahead and finish it on May 2nd, and I really enjoyed it. This is set in a college town. I think it's in Ohio. I'm not sure if the town, I guess Appleseed Creek is the name of the town. There's a college there called Harshberger College, and our main character is not Amish. She has been hired to be the head of the computer sciences department at the college, which is very small. It consists of like 3 people, and she does meet some Amish people and some Amish friends. She becomes roommates with a girl who has grown up Amish and has decided to leave the Amish faith, but they are still very much in touch with that girl's family. Also, that girl's brother is sort of the love interest. He also has left the Amish faith, and they attend a Mennonite church. This is not what I would consider a faith-based book, although there is a little bit more mentions of the faith aspect than in the other Candy Shop Mysteries, for example. But this is not what I would call a Christian cozy mystery. There are some deaths and some murders and things like that. It's not as cozy as a Christian cozy that has no murder, but it's just as cozy as a cozy mystery with murder. Does that make sense at all? It falls somewhere in the middle. It wasn't, I didn't think, as humorous as her Candy Shop and Matchmaker series, but still very good. I definitely have enjoyed these first 2 books and will certainly plan on reading the other 2. Then we have 2 cozy mysteries that also these are more faith-based and have murders in them and a little more crime than some Christian cozies that don't deal with a lot of crime. They just deal with mysteries. I don't know if that makes any sense. If you've read both, you kind of know what I mean, but let's just move on. Okay, so Vannetta Chapman is an author of Amish mysteries as well as romances, and she has several different trilogies, and this is one that my sister got me started on last year, the Shipshewana Amish Mysteries. This first book, Falling to Pieces, I actually listened to last year, but when I went to pick up book 2, A Perfect Square, I thought, I just don't remember enough about the first book. I remembered the basic premise, but I just couldn't remember any details. So I went ahead and listened to this again, and because I did that, I didn't have time to get to book 3, which is what I really wanted to do, because I put this trilogy on my Serious About Series list, so at some point this year, I do need to go ahead and pick up book 3. Anyway, I loved the first book. I think I enjoyed it even more the second time than I did the first time, because I was really giving it more attention. last year, I think when I picked it up, I was just trying to hurry. I wanted to get through it because my sister had sent it to me and I wanted to read it, but I just didn't allot enough headspace for it. And as a result, it was like reading it again for the first time, except that I did remember little bits. It would sort of start to come back to me, but I still, even to the very end, I didn't remember who the bad guy was or anything. So I'm really glad that I read it again. Now I think I will actually remember it and retain it. And then I went on and listened to book 2. But the interesting thing about this is that this book felt more like a book about an English woman in an Amish community. And this one felt more like about an Amish woman in an Amish community with some English characters. But yet they're about the same people. I don't know. Explain that one. I can't. Anyway, we'll see how book 3 goes. And it is called Material Witness. I've got it here. I just didn't get to listen to it. These are all on Scribd if you prefer audio. But, of course, they are available in, obviously, a couple of different editions. I wish they all matched, but I love this one. This is a beautiful cover. So I almost don't mind that it doesn't match, but... Anyway, it's a trilogy. She's got a bunch of trilogies. I think Sarah was reading one. Tiffany, the Beach Bum Bookworm, mentioned in one of her Amish recommendation videos, she mentioned 2 or 3 other trilogies by Vannetta Chapman and didn't even mention this one. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that she had so many trilogies. The one that several people were reading, I think it starts with Murder Simply Brewed. It's got like someone holding a cup of coffee on it, and then Murder Simply Baked. Is that the name of the second one? I don't even know the name of that trilogy, but it sounds really good. So probably after I get done with this one, I will pick up that trilogy. Then one that I read in print, because I just found this in a lot of romance books that I had bought at a book sale, and this is one of the only Amish books that were there, and it sounded really interesting. I just thought, you know, before I sell that lot on eBay and add them to my eBay store, I will read this one. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a love-inspired suspense, so it has some mystery, but not what I would consider a cozy mystery. In fact, that is all of the cozy mysteries now. Yeah, so we're moving on now to the romance. It's by Kit Wilkinson, and I didn't think she had any other Amish books, but somebody commented to one of the live streams. This, if you look this up, it says that it's the first in a series, and there doesn't appear to be any more in this series, but there are a couple of books by her that are Amish, so I am going to try to look those up. This was about a person who had grown up Amish, and then he had left the Amish faith to become a policeman. He really felt led to be a policeman. That's what he was drawn to. And now he has been sent by his chief back to his community to help solve a mystery. And I just thought it was great. So anyway, it looks like my phone needs to be charged up for a few minutes before I can continue the video. So let me do that and I will be right back. Okay, I've charged my phone for a few minutes. Hopefully it's enough to get this done because it's church night for us, and I will hopefully get this done before we have to leave, and then it can be uploading before it gets too late tonight. Anyway, I was in the middle of telling you about the romances, and I realized I watched through this while I was charging the phone. This is called Plain Secrets. I mentioned the author, but I didn't mention the title. And if I ever do that, I apologize. Sometimes I will hold up a book and tell you what series it's from, and sometimes even the author, and forget to tell you the title. I usually try to put the title and the author and sometimes the series it came from in the description. So I will plan on doing that. I usually for sure do that when I'm doing a wrap-up video. Okay, so I read one book by Beth Wiseman. Now this is a series of 5 or 6 books, and I was hoping to get to more of these than just this first one, but I only got one done, and that was right at the end of the month, the last day. In fact, I was reading this or listening to it past midnight, probably till 2 a.m., but, you know, it was still midnight in California, right? It wasn't midnight yet. That's always how I look at it. Anyway, this is Plain Perfect. This would be considered a romance. I rated this 5 stars. This was a lot of fun. This is about a young woman. I think she's 27-ish, something like that. her mother had grown up Amish and had left her family and the church and everything. We don't really know why. You kind of guess why, but anyway, they don't really say it until, near the end. Anyway, so she had grown up with her mom, who wouldn't really talk much about her grandparents. They had been maybe to visit them once, maybe when she was 10. But it's kind of funny because she is trying to just get away from not that great of a situation that she's in, and she thinks, I'll go live with my grandparents. I'll be Amish. Yeah, that's about the way she thought of it. Because my grandparents are Amish, she even makes the statement, I'm going to be Amish for a while. So it starts out like that, and it's just really fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm really looking forward to reading more of it. More of the series. I have 3. This is a library book, but I've got 3 others from the series on my shelves, and the first 4, I think, are on Overdrive, at least for me. Now, Overdrive is different for different libraries. Each library can choose what they want on their Overdrive and what they purchase, but my library has the first 4, and I think the rest of them, maybe all of them, are on Hoopla or Scribd. I don't know. I looked through all my resources, and I think I can get the last 2 on audio as well, but I thought this first one was great, so I would recommend it. Okay, so I read 3 books by Beverly Lewis. I had hoped to get more read by her as well, but I got 3 done. I read 1 standalone, and I listened to the first 2 in a 5-book series, and I will probably go ahead and try to finish that series this year as well. But the standalone I listened to is The Redemption of Sarah Kane. I did enjoy this a lot. It ended kind of abruptly. I felt like I wished that there would have been a little more at the end, but anyway, it was still very enjoyable. It's about a woman who is not Amish, but her sister and husband took their young children and left the modern world to become plain. Now, whether they were actually Amish or not, I can't be certain. It was maybe a New Order Amish. I'm trying to remember if they even use that terminology, but anyway, they have definitely given up a lot of modern conveniences to live the way they wanted to live. And their sister, her sister, the one that lives in the modern world, is a real estate agent, very, worldly. She had kind of rejected all things faith-based and didn't want anything to do with them. But then she finds out her sister has died, her brother-in-law had died previously, and now it is in her sister's will for Sarah to come and be their guardian. So it goes from there. I did enjoy it. And I discovered that there is a movie about it called Saving Sarah Kane. I checked this out from the library and kind of forgot all about it. It's here in my box of books. It's probably overdue by now. I need to watch this and get both of these back to the library. And then the other 2 books I listened to by Beverly Lewis. One of them I listened to like on the last day of April, and then one of them I listened to on the first day of May. I decided to go ahead and listen to it because I had both of them checked out from Hoopla, and I didn't want to waste those borrows. So even though I knew I wasn't going to get them done by the end of the readathon and by the end of the month, I decided to go ahead and listen to both of these. So I can't even remember now which one is first. This one, The Covenant, is first. This is the first book in a 5-book series called Abram's Daughters. Abram has 4 daughters, and the second book is The Betrayal. I thought at first that each book was going to be like one about each daughter, but there's 5 books and there's 4 daughters, so that really wasn't the case. And I didn't love these as much as I hoped I might. I will just say, I did rate them 4 stars. I thought they were very enjoyable, but overall, they all the stuff that went on sort of reminded me of a soap opera. Now, I used to watch soap operas, so I'm not downing soap operas at all. There was just a lot of drama, and more than you would think from an Amish book, but that makes it interesting, and I definitely will finish the series. I love Beverly Lewis as an author. I have enjoyed everything that I've ever read by her, so I'll definitely continue, and this is the first 2, The Covenant and The Betrayal. Then the last book that I want to tell you about is one of the first books that I read, at least as far as Amish books go. I read this first in an e-copy, an e-arc, and then I reread the ending again because when I interviewed Deborah Torres, or actually probably before I interviewed her, she was telling me that she had changed the ending just a little bit, and it was a good change. So I went ahead and finished reading the e-arc that she sent me before the interview, and then went back and read the last couple of chapters. So this is book 2 in her series. I think it's going to be a trilogy called Willowbrook, Secrets of the Pen. The first book I read last year, it's called Forbidden Gift, and then this is book 2, Forbidden Truth, and these books are fantastic. They are so good. The first book, Forbidden Gift, is my highest rated book on my Goodreads that I have read. What I mean by that is it has the highest average rating of any other book that I've read on Goodreads. Now, you know, it doesn't have hundreds of thousands of reads, but almost everybody that has read it has rated it 5 stars. So that is saying something. And, you know, quite a few people have read it now. So definitely check it out. You can get them on Amazon, either on ebook or in physical form. And I hope you will. Definitely start with the first book. If you start with this one, you would be fine as far as reading this, but it will completely spoil the first book. And the first book is fantastic. So read the first book first, then come back and read this one, and then next year read the third one when it comes out. If you didn't see my interview with her, we did a live stream kickoff of the Amish in April Readathon, and that is on my channel. I'll put a link right here, and I hope that you will check it out if you haven't already. So there were quite a few books that I didn't get read. You know, we had the this and that theme, and I'm not going to go into all that here, but I tried to kind of, you know, read one thing that would offset another. One thing I had kind of hoped I would get to, but I didn't, was to read a thriller set in Amish country, and this is book 2 in the Amish series. What is it called? I don't even know what the trilogy. I don't even know what the series is called, but it's by Linda Castillo. And this book 2, Pray for Silence, I did not get to it. I do want to read it at some point, even though Sarah has warned me. I have read the first one. I know that the series is very gritty, but I still kind of wanted to read that one just to sort of offset, but it didn't happen. I didn't have time, and maybe one of these days I will get to it. Maybe I won't. You know, it's okay, one way or the other. Anyway, that is everything that I did read, including a couple that I finished in early May. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to be back soon with more videos, both about what I'm reading in May and also what I'm doing to sort of reboot my life organization. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books, or if you want to read any of them, or what you thought about them, or if you participated in Amish in April and what you read, and if you did a video about it, let me know in case I haven't seen it. That's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.